What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? Yo, first live stream. Let's get it. Let's get it. You know, man, we got to react to these games, bro. But more importantly, we just gonna talk hoops for real. We gonna talk hoops for real. Um, like I said before, guys, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. This is a new channel. I will be doing a lot more live streams. I will be doing a lot more um just straight analysis, just straight bag talk. Like, I'm tired of all the casual talk when it comes to basketball. I'm tired of all the I'm tired of everything, man. Like, I'm tired of people providing no analysis. I'm tired of people just giving casual garbage takes without no like knowledge about hoops for real. Like, how you all claim you're hoopers, but you don't talk about basketball, but you talk about everything else, about legacy and this garbage back and forth, all time debates. We're talking, but yeah, no one wants to talk about the game. Everyone wants to talk about narratives, but no one wants to talk about the game. No one wants to break anything down, right? So, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And if you guys are new to my channel, also subscribe to my other main channel. It's called Snipe Pass, right? And as I talk about these series, man, comment who you have winning the series between the Lakers, Nuggets for the Western Conference Finals, and the Eastern Conference Finals. That is the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. So, guys, we will be breaking down basically the series, what just happened between Celtics and Sixers. If you do not know, I am an objective Celtics fan, as my team, but I will be just talking my talk on this, right? So let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about game 7. Obviously, Boston won in the blowout. Jason Tatum now has the record for the most points in any game 7 that any players ever played it, right? Which goes to show this guy's talent. Also goes to show the frustration, right? The frustration in his game. Jason Tatum is somebody who I've always been more harder on him because I see his talent. Not just scoring the basketball, as you guys see in this series. Like, this guy has proven he's also an elite defender. This guy also proves can be an elite rebounder as well. He has averaged, I think, about 9 to 10 rebounds this series, right? He has great size. He's 6'9", 6'10", right? And I think this game mainly is a microcosm that, obviously, first and foremost, basketball is just as much as a mental game as anything else, right? Especially when it comes to jump shooting. You could put all the time in, you could put all the effort in. These guys are professional basketball players. Jason Tatum, I bet you that shoots all his setback threes, all the stuff he was missing throughout the series is 0 for 6s and 0 for 10s and 0 for 8s. Promise you, he's hitting 70 to 80% of that by himself, right? But once you get into a game, you're at 30%, you're 15% at where he was at, and it's frustrating, right? But you got to keep shooting. You got to keep shooting. I've always looked at the guy as kind of what Paul George could have been, right, before Paul George broke his leg, but with more upside. And that was mainly because this guy is morely a 3-level scorer who just so happens to do everything else. As far as Paul George was more so an elite level athlete, and a two-way player who ended up developing a jump shot and a handle, right? So Tatum has really shown that he has top 3 talent in the league. In my opinion, he is a top 3 to top 5 talent in the league when he's maxed out, right? So when he goes on these lows, I have a hard time because I know it's all mental. I know when he's driving with his right hand, a lot of times when he goes back to that spin move, right? A lot of times he's trying to, earlier in the series, he was trying to go through Harden. He was trying to go through PJ Tucker. He's trying to go through these smaller 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" defenders. You're 6'9". Just go over them. So you go over them. Go up off 2 feet, just like last year in the finals. Go up off 2 feet and go over them. If they foul you, they foul you. Go strong to the basket. Right? No more tentative, no more looking for fouls because the refs sniff that out, right? These are NBA refs. Like, I'm sure Scott Foster knows, bro. I know these guys. I'm sure these guys know that you guys are looking for fouls. Hence why when James Harden and Joel Embiid, whenever they get the whistle, they don't get the whistle. You see a lot of times they falter. Same thing. The embellishment, by the way, has got to go in this league. Got to go. But back to what I was saying about Tatum. You're 6'9". A lot of times, when you're trying to do that sweep through, and if you guys are really paying attention to the game, the same thing that Jason Tatum's kind of having trouble with and was having trouble with is the same thing Kevin Durant is dealing with right now. It's the same thing Kevin Durant is dealing with right now. When you don't necessarily always have the leverage, obviously we all know when you're a defender, you want to get low and under somebody, especially low and low and underneath somebody, especially when you're defending, because you want to be physical as much as you can, which is fine. It's the postseason. Everyone's going to be more so hand checking. And as a dribbler, as a ball handler, you're looking obviously to create space and draw fouls and do what you need to do. But Jason Tatum was aggressive from the start. And when you create contact, the whistle is going to start blowing, right? But when it's time to hit that jumper, when it's time to get to your spots, you have to go to your spots and rise up. Jaylen Brown too. When he goes hard to the cup, you're a great finisher. Like, don't worry about the contact. It's going to happen, right? And, obviously the finish this guy had in Game 6 directly increase his confidence. He's going out there, he's getting to his spots, and now he's getting buckets. Right now, he's doing the things that he's supposed to do. He's doing the things that you see superstars do, which is take over games because his confidence is at an all-time high. We all know he's extremely skilled. And now he's going over D'Anthony Melton. He's going over PJ Tucker. He's going over every defender, Tobias Harris. Doesn't matter who it is. Joel Embiid, I'm going right through you, right? We're going right past you, excuse me. And you're an excellent ball handler, so you can create space. You can get jiggy with it. You can get to the free throw line. That gets you going. So for me, what he has shown is a resilience. What he has shown is that everything that honestly can stop him is him. To be honest, to be 100% honest, there are a lot of great scorers that you do see. There are a lot of great players that you do see that once they lose their confidence or get frustrated, they really can't impact the game in other ways. That's why I love that I'm so hard on him, because I know he can impact the game, but he has to stay more consistent on the offensive end. And a lot of that is just simple, obviously comes with time, but more so, like I said, go at your 6'9", get to your spots, rise up, go through, pick your spots that right? That step back three on the wing, right? Getting off a screen, getting to your left hand, pulling up, right? Getting off a screen, right? In and out, get to that, get once again downhill and finishing at the basket off 2 feet, going over these guys. You're athletic enough, you can finish with a poster, you can finish with a finger roll, you can play at the rim and above the rim. And then, once we have shown again, this guy is an elite level defender. This guy is a solid playmaker. He's more than just a scorer. That's why I always viewed him as a top 10 player, but more so you can see this is why he can get that top 5, top 3, because of he just got to be consistent. This series has really shown me a couple issues as far as Boston's end. First and foremost, the motor is very different from this team last year. Ime Udoka had them playing like a college team, running around, high-level defense, high-motor defense, diving for loose balls, grabbing rebounds, sitting in the chair for 48 minutes collectively as a team. And now, we've shown, especially the last 2 games, 86 for Philly. I don't know what the final score was, but I think it was around 90, under 95 points or something like that. They didn't score 100. But This team is still that same elite level team. They just, for some reason, the motor is not always there. Whether it is they're playing down to their competition, they know they're the more talented team. So sometimes, especially if you're a hooper, like, oh, I'm more talented than this guy. I can very much let my guard down. But as you can see, this series should have been over in 5 if you literally just did the things you're supposed to do, right? Which is, I'm going to finish these 24 seconds and grab a defensive rebound. I'm going to not let my guy backdoor me, right? It's a little effort plays. I miss a jumper and then I'm beat on the fast break. Jaylen Brown, you cannot get beat on any more fast break layups. Thank you. All right, we're good. All right, number two, the offense is extremely predictable. All right, that dribble drive offense, everyone knows, oh, it's a dribble drive. It's a dribble drive. It's a little more than a dribble drive. There are some sets we do play. There are some stagger moves, stagger sets we do set. But at the end of the day, when you have multiple ball handlers and you have multiple guys that are shot creators and solid passers and everything's predicated off of solid decision making and quick decision making. That's why in the series, when you see Boston struggle in the half court, a lot of times what happens is everybody's dribbling too much, holding the ball too much, instead of moving the ball. Body movement, ball movement. Body movement in basketball is just as important as ball movement. Look at the Golden State Warriors in their prime. Yeah, the ball movement was crazy, but the body movement, Steph running around, Clay running around, Draymond running through it, running off screens and diving and cutting, and everybody's making back doors. And now Wiggins is going back door. Jordan Poole's coming. You know what I mean? Everybody's moving at once, even if the ball's not moving. So therefore, there's always space. Boston doesn't really do that. A lot of their stuff is more stationary, always making sure everybody's spaced out. I know Missoula stresses the space out more. That's why you see a lot of guys around the hash mark, a little more behind the and in both corners. So there's always space, which is great. I love having space. I love that concept. But when you got guys are missing their jump shots and missing layups and doing those things, and those lead to easy fast breaks. And when you do pass to certain guys, and when we'll talk about Philly in a few moments here, what happens a lot of times is you're not necessarily and this is kind of why, like, especially as somebody who hoops, I'm a guard. I always want to make sure everybody's in motion. I want to make sure everybody is into the game, and a lot of times you got to get people touches, right? So earlier in the series, whenever Tatum hadn't have it going, right, and they kept force feeding him the ball, Marcus Smart, Derek White, I can take my guy. Yes, you may take your guy, but when you're stopped, you have no one to pass to because they're taking away the 3 ball, right? You have Embiid there for help defense, right? For backline defense as a help defender, a 7-footer for rim protection. That creates a lot of dysfunction. And we see these times where, they turn the ball over all the time because they make bad decisions. Yes, partially. Some of it is stupid decisions and trying stuff and having the ego that you think you can do certain things. But what happens is you're also going away from what ways you work, right? When they move the ball, right? When they move the ball, and they use transition more, right? And play with a little bit more pace, they're pretty much unbeatable. Celtics are pretty much very unbeatable. Especially with the depth, especially with certain lineups that they play, right? They can match you going small, they can match you going big, they can match you doing 3 wings, a guard, and center. They can match you doing 3 forwards, 2 guards, 4 guards, 1 big, right? So there's a lot of different matchups they can play with. So that's why I kind of like this team a lot, especially because you can be versatile. You're allowed to be versatile. And the third thing I've seen is that Robert Williams, right, in obviously, Marcus Smart's a great defender, but Robert Williams is honestly the most impactful defender on the team. When he is right and when he is going, it's very hard to really. It's really hard to really see another defender outside of probably Bam Adebayo that can do what he does, right? Switching on the small, switching onto wings, staying in front of them, contesting, blocking shots, running up and down, being a ring runner, right? There's not a lot of centers that can truly do that. There's also not a lot of centers that are 6'9" with a 45-inch vertical, right? So goes hand in hand. But Um, I do like Boston going forward. I will go into the preview of what I think is going to happen in the Heat Celtics series, but I want to talk about Philly for a little bit and what I think went wrong for them. First and foremost, we can't attack Doc Rivers this much. Oh, well, it's Doc, and he lost 3-1 leads and 3-2 leads. Okay, fine, but you have the MVP. I don't care if you're hurt, Joel. You're 7-2 and 280. When you realize that you're 7-2 and 280, you should be playing through the post way more often. No one can guard you. And you're an 86 foul line shooter, 86% foul line shooter. There should be no reason why half of your touches should not be on that left block or right block. He fades too much. It's not Doc. You have a solid enough roster. You have James Harden, you have PJ Tucker, you have Daniel House, you have Georges Niang, you have Tobias Harris, you have PJ Tucker, you have solid Shake Mellon, D'Anthony Mellon, you have Tyrese Maxey, you have enough people. Paul Reed had a great series. You have enough people. But what happens is when your number one guy ain't going and everything's predicated around him ISOing at the elbow, which by the way is not smart because there's not enough space. Yeah, PJ Tucker is sitting in the corner and he went crazy in the first quarter, but Boston's sagging off of him. Boston's sagging off of him. So what you should do is give PJ Tucker better looks and get the opposite corner better looks by posting up on that post. You're a good enough passer. They're going to double team you. They're going to get these guys in foul trouble, make them play their other bigs that they never play, get us to play Blake Griffin, get us to play Mike Muscala, get us to play Luke Cornett some more. Get them guys in foul trouble. What you doing taking foul? What are you doing getting the ball, right? And you have Al Horford on you, and I love Al Horford. He's just no reason he's guarding Joel Embiid. 7'1", 7'2", 285 pounds, right? Has a handle. We all know you have a handle. We all know you can shoot, but you're fading too much. You're not going to get certain calls, and when the ref eats that whistle, and you're looking at him like, "Yo, I got hacked," and they're like, "Excuse me, bro. Like, it doesn't matter if you got hacked because at the end of the day, you're 7'2", 280. He wants you to take 3 power dribbles, do a step through, and go up. And when he does that, he's successful. He was successful in this series. And it also takes away from James Harden because when you ISO Embiid, Harden's not an off-ball player. Harden's a P&R point guard, right? A lot of the stuff Harden's elite at is off the pick and roll action because he can see his first read, which is Embiid diving or Embiid fading. Do I have the layup, or do I have my strong side corner or my weak side corner open, right? And a lot of times Harden makes those reads, and when he was making those reads, he was elite, right? And obviously he saved you 2 games, with his offense. But when you ISO him and then you say, well, why is Harden not in rhythm? Once again, your offense needs to have rhythm. That's why the Lakers and the Nuggets are so playing amazing right now because they know their rhythm. The Nuggets know their rhythm. We're going to play a little faster. We have Jokic to push the ball. We have Jokic in the half court with a little bit more pace. Everything's going to be set around him, right? Same thing with the Lakers. We're going to play fast. We're going to use our defense to create our offense. And when that happens, we play a lot in transition. We push the ball. We have secondaries with Russell and LeBron, right? Playing those playmakers. We have Schroeder and Reeves and those guys when Bron's out of the game, we play a little faster. Same thing with Boston. We're going to use our offense with a little bit more pace, right? We're going to shoot a ton of threes and get up a ton of threes. We're going to get up and down the floor a little bit, right? We're going to attack the basket, make sure we're going downhill. Now we're going to have Al Horford's trailers. We have Rob Williams. We have certain guys. We have the Derek Whites and Malcolm Brogdons, right? There's a pace. There is a style and a pace, and there are players who dictate those pace. James Harden, yes, he needs to go downhill more. Yes, he needs to pick up the pace for him. But when you ISO Embiid, you can't ISO. Joel Embiid has to change his craft this summer. He has to say, you know what, I'm going to go in and change my mindset. I'm going to go in and change my mindset. Every great player goes through it. We've seen Kobe do it. We've seen Kobe learn to pick his spots early in his career. We've seen other big men. Let's not even talk about the guards. Let's talk about other historical big men. Right, Hakeem Olajuwon played a lot out of the post. Yes, he can hit the step back three, or step back jumper. Yes, he can nice post fade. Yes, he had a great jumper, but he still did everything on the block. he still had an interior presence. And when Embiid decides to have an interior presence, the 76ers will then take that next step. I'm gonna be real. They can take that next step. He's capable of doing it. He's a Hall of Fame level talent, amazing player. But his mindset, right, is not there. His approach to the game is not there. When you play elbows, it's easy to play boxes and elbows on somebody who ISOs at the elbow. Why? Because I have topside help right at the top of the key, because we all know Harden is only going to be at the top of the key or the wing, right? We know there's not going to be another set really run for Tobias Harris unless Embiid's out of the game, which a lot of Tobias Harris's game is catch and shoot, or it's going to be 1-2 dribbles, getting to the free throw line, right, and shooting that little mid-range jumper, right? PJ Tucker, not going to do anything but hitting a corner three on the right side. We all know that, okay? So when Tyrese Maxey, right, is not playing well, and Harden's not playing well, you can't look at those other dudes and say, well, it's just me and James and it's 2-on-5. That's fair. That's fair. But the problem with that is you're taking everybody out of the rhythm. Your offense has no rhythm. Now these guys got to play defense on the other end. And that's exhausting. And this guy's conditioning level is not there as well. He's got to be a better conditioned athlete. I'm going to be 100% real. Same thing with James Harden. Got to take care of your body. Got to take care of your body. And when you don't take care of your body, that is a huge issue, right? That is a huge issue. Like I said, I don't really look at this as a Doc Rivers thing, because a lot of times when you looked on the sidelines, you saw him, and we all know that look from our coaches, right? When our coaches like, homie, you figure it out. Like, you figure it out. You're a vet. You figure it out. You figure it out, because I'm not the one on the floor, right? Give credit to Joe Mazzulla for making that starting lineup change and putting Horford and Williams together, adding a little more size. So when Embiid did catch the ball, he saw another big there. He saw another rim protector there. He saw more size there, right? So that will be pretty much that's just what my thoughts are on the series. That's what my thoughts is pretty much on the series. About both teams is what I saw stylistically that I think that could change in certain players as well. I love what I saw from Jaylen Brown. I'm really happy for him getting second team All NBA. I believe he just deserves it. He's one of the more underrated players in the league. So let's talk about the Lakers and the Nuggets. I'm going to give my thoughts. Basically, I've seen the Nuggets a little bit because the game's on the Eastern time frame, guys. So a lot of the stuff is, for me, the game started at 10:30, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So the games don't finish till 1. I'm not gonna really watch the game. So if I come off a little highlighty, hopefully this upcoming series I will be able to see a lot more. But I saw some of the Nuggets Sun series. I'll give a few reasons why I like the Nuggets winning this series against the Lakers. I'll give my full synopsis on that, just based on what I'm leaning. Nikola Jokic, to me, is the best player this playoffs. He's the best player in the game right now. Obviously, back-to-back MVP. But his style of play is it's a lot like Luka, right? Not super athletic, but very skilled, right? And the skill is equipped with the mind as well, which I think this will be a great match between, personally, him and LeBron James. I'll get into key matchups of what I think next. So Nikola Jokic, a lot of his ability to stay under control, you could see that seep through the team, right? And the Nuggets have different personalities, and it's a beautiful mesh because obviously Jokic is cool, calm, collected. And if you see Mike Malone, their coach, it's kind of that same thing: cool, calm, collected, right? But still fiery, right? Still shows emotion. It's that beautiful balance. Jamal Murray, a little more fiery, a little more braggadocious, a little more, you know what I mean, as a secondary playmaker and as somebody who's mainly there to score, right? We know Jamal is going to get his 25. What I like about Jamal is that he will hit you with the three ball. He knows how to play out the PNR. He knows how to catch a shoot. He knows how to run it off screens and pin downs, right? And he's versatile enough to play out in the post. I love his post work. I love his footwork for a bigger guard. Him and Shea have one of the better post work out of any point guards I've seen in the league. Me personally, I wish they could feature Michael Porter Jr. a little bit more. Him being used as a catch and shooter, I think, will definitely be exposed this series, and he will have to. Him and Aaron Gordon will definitely have to put the ball on the floor, and KCP as well. I do like their bench. I like Bruce Brown. I love Jeff Green. Obviously, Uncle Jeff can still catch a body, still catch a poster. They play faster with that second unit in. A little more up and down, especially when they put Gordon at the 5 and play Jeff at the 4. Christian Braun picking up 94 feet. Just another hustle guy. Real true hustle guy. He's very solid. I think he's from Kansas, where he won a national championship. So he's got winners intangibles as well. And I think, who is this other guy? I think they play mainly those 4. And then they have, you know, their starters in as well. So I think that they just go by like 9 deep. If I'm missing somebody, let me know. But I do like the Nuggets a lot. This series, they've looked like a well-oiled machine offensively, and then defensively, you can definitely tell that they're going to fight you every possession. Obviously, like I said, Nikola Jokic's mind is exactly the pairing that I see. Especially, he's an extension of the coach. Basically, it gives me heavy Arvydas Sabonis vibes. With a mix of, he's got some Dirk in him too, a little bit of that Dirk kind of edge, that Spursian edge. So I like Jokic a lot. The Lakers. So let's talk about the Lakers. Honestly, everything's predicated around Anthony Davis, right? Offensively, going through him at the foul line, PNRs, early post feeds on the transition. A lot of his stuff will be out in transition, so I will love to see how him and Jokic get up and down. See how that getting that rim running thing works, and see how Anthony Davis decides to play Jokic. Obviously, LeBron James is the ultimate basketball savant. To me, he's the greatest player of all time. We'll get to that another day. But this dude's mind, I think, is the most important part to his game. Yes, we know the playmaking. Yes, we know he's a bully, but he likes to play bully ball. And I like the roster now. It gives him the ability to pick his spots. It gives him the ability to be more of a rim protector and a defender and a rebounder, which is what you're seeing this postseason, which I haven't seen this side of him in a while. Since Miami, to be honest, where he can play that weak side. He has more energy to be on the defensive end with Anthony Davis, right? The same way in 2020 where he was with him and Dwight and AD and JaVale, where you have that rim protection there. You have other guys that are going to do the dirty work on the defensive end, right? They're going to run you off screens. They're going to play physical. They're going to switch, right? They have guys who know what they're doing, have the basketball IQ, and have no ego, right? The Jared Vanderbilts, the Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder's, Rui Hachimura. They have defenders there, right? They have defenders there, and I like them a lot. I really am happy to see, even as a Celtics fan, I am happy to see the Lakers there. And to be honest, my opinion, D'Angelo Russell and Jamal Murray will be the first key matchup I look at. I think that will be big on what decides, just seeing how they use the pace of play, how they dictate both sides of the ball, right? At the point of attack, on the defense, right? But at the same time, just looking at how they, as point guards, the kind of play as twos, like masquerade as two, like that combo guard, especially with the Lakers, because LeBron obviously has the ball in his hands a lot. Austin Reeves has the ball in his hand a lot with the PNRs. Shooter has the ball a lot in PR. So D'Lo's kind of like a mask, kind of like a two. Obviously, being a bigger guard, same as Jamal, they're both 6'4", 6'5", so they can kind of play the same style, as you can see. Just seeing how they attack, seeing how they shoot the ball, seeing how they play in transition, secondary transition. That'll be an interesting matchup. That's the first matchup I'm looking forward to. Obviously, AD and Jokic, I'm not really going to get into. The second matchup I'm going to see, I want to really see the others, right? So the KCPs, Michael Porter Jr.'s, Aaron Gordon's, the Jeff Greens, the Christian Brauns, the Bruce Browns, right? Seeing the others, and versus the Lakers others, right? When we look at the Austin Reeves, when we look at the Jared Vanderbilts, when we look at the Ruiz, when we look at the Dennis Schroeders and the Malik Beasleys, and we look at um, just the other role players, right? Seeing how they hold up to the moment, seeing how they play in big, you know, whenever there's a big run, seeing how they handle things, and how they can build, how they have to compete on the defensive end. Excuse me, because I think as far as exploiting matchups on the floor, I think you will see a lot of that with LeBron and Jokic, in different ways. And the third, X factor I'm going to want to see is Michael Malone versus Darvin Ham, right? The coaching matchup, because I think coaching is everything. Darvin Ham proves once again that he's a solid coach. He proves that, you know, which is my theory all along, that more players should be coaching. When you play the game right on some sort of level, or you play a lot of basketball, you study a lot of basketball, there's a you can't miss certain things with the eyes, right? You just see certain matchups, you see certain things, you kind of have a feel for the game. Um, which is kind of what I was big on Joe Mazzulla about, because his flow wasn't there, right? Ime understood the flow, but Joe took a while for him to understand playoff matchups and adjustments. So Darvin Ham, I have no problem with that. He's going to use those adjustments early and often, especially with having LeBron and AD there as vets that have won championships. Darvin Ham has won a championship, obviously as an assistant to the Bucks. So him being around greatness, I know, and I think he played for the Pistons too in the early 2000s. He knows how to win, right? And he knows the flow of the game. I say anything with Michael Malone, haven't been around. I don't think he's ever won a championship. I could be wrong. Um, but seeing that matchup as well. So yeah, I personally think the Nuggets will win in 6. I just really think that they're too deep for the Lakers. I could, like I said, I could be wrong. The Lakers could come back, could win 6 or 7 too. And I just think Jokic could just beat you in multiple ways. And I don't see the Lakers, especially having a secondary big there, which they don't really need, but could be there, right? For the Miami Boston series, whew, I'm tired of seeing Miami, bro. I'm tired of seeing Miami. I'm tired of seeing Miami. I'm tired of seeing Jimmy Butler, even though I love Jimmy. Timothy Butler. Kyle Lowry, hey Kyle Lowry from the Toronto Raptors days. He's just flopping everywhere. Another James Harden-esque type of person, with flopping, just a savvy vet. But they're gritty. You got to give them respect. They beat Milwaukee. They exposed Milwaukee for the lack of defense that they had, which I've been said for the whole entire year. Milwaukee couldn't defend outside of Drew Holiday. Yeah, they have rim protection, but you got to be able to compete on the wings, compete at the point of attack, which you do see with them, right? Caleb Martin will get on you 94 feet. Max Strus will fight you. Max Strus will fight you. Duncan Robinson has proven that he's not that bad of a defender. I mean, you're 6'7". You should use your body to play defense, right? Bam Adebayo, obviously, in my opinion, is an all-world defender. 4-time all-defense, great defender. Jimmy Butler is a great defender. So there's great defense. The same way Boston has great defense. So I think this will be a defensive grudge match again. The 3 factors I will be looking for is the guard play of Miami versus the guard play of Boston. I do think that will be a determining factor. So, more specifically, Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, Caleb or Cody Martin. I don't know which one of the twins it is. Kyle Lowry. I don't obviously Tyler Hero's out, and Gabe Vincent versus Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown. Right, that's going to be the dictation, because a lot of the stuff that's going to happen defensively is going to be at the point of attack. It's going to be on the wings. It's going to be fighting over the screens. It's going to be initiating the offense and making sure everybody has a flow. Right. I think the front court will be a little more of a wash, especially with Bam back there defensively. I think he just does so much and he's so versatile. Obviously, Jimmy will fight you. And I think him and Tatum will kind of start to cancel out each other sometimes, defensively and offensively, because we all know I think he's going to take him. And I just, Cody Zeller is another big body to throw in there. So me personally, I will. If you are a fan And there are certain players that I think this matchup you'll start to see a lot more Grant Williams. Obviously, last year him being able to switch, being able to be small ball big, be in the corner, kind of like a PJ Tucker was. He's like kind of like a PJ Tucker clone. He wanted to be Draymond. He more like PJ Tucker. Don't be surprised if you see some Blake Griffin. Don't be surprised if you see Mike Muscala. I don't think Mike Muscala's play. I would love to see Mike Muscala play, but for the Miami too with Kevin Love, I think Kevin Love and Al Horford will be a great matchup. I think with them being vets and having won games and being in big moments, that you're going to see a lot of savvy veteran stuff, right? Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, Jimmy Butler, Bam, Eric Spoelstra. You're going to see a lot of savvy, high basketball IQ vibes, right? Which is what you love about playoff basketball, right? And this is kind of goes back to my overarching hot take on why a lot of the young players have not taken the next step to go to the next level is because basketball IQ is more than just getting buckets, stopping someone from getting a bucket, right? It's the little things, like I said before, about rhythm on offense, point of attack, switches, certain matchups, knowing where guys want to be on the floor, knowing where your defender wants to be on the floor, and just the little nuances throughout the game. I think a lot of times we just think basketball is a very simple game, which in a lot of ways it can be very simple, right? Can be very simple, but a lot of times, like I said before, it's mental. It's mental, and as much as I trust Miami's ability to use adjustments, I think that because the Celtics, you know, really, I just think that you will start to see the veteran savvy stuff happen a lot with Al Horford, Blake Griffin, and obviously the Brown Tatum, like that crew's been there for a while, right? 6 or 7 years that core has been there, so they kind, they kind of know, they kind of know. Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White was there last year. Malcolm Brogdon came in this year. These guys know what they're doing, right? These guys know what they're doing. And the third factor is going to be three ball, right? So if the Celtics, obviously they're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league and makes and attempts, so they're going to get their volume up. They're going to get their volume up. They're going to get the good looks, and I expect them to make it. Maybe they have 1 or 2 games where it's going to be a dogfight because your shot's not falling, and Miami's might. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for the three ball, right? If you can stop Duncan Robinson and you can stop Max Strus and you can stop Gabe Vincent, like I said, the guard play, point of attack, not making sure they get those easy looks off the screens, not making sure they get those easy secondary reads, right? The slip in may be there, but that's why you have Al Horford. That's why you have Rob Williams and those guys. I expect them to fight. I expect them to fight. And overall, I think, like I said, Celtics will win. I think I have the Celtics in 7. In this series, I think the series is going 7. I'm giving Miami the credit they deserve, and like I said, I just think both series could go 6 or 7. You're going to see, like I said, a lot of high basketball IQ. And as fans, I want you guys to really watch these games and really see what's going on the floor. Really see how the coaches make the adjustments. Really see the substitution patterns, right? Really see which 5-mans work, which 5-mans don't work, and seeing how they adjust to that. Seeing the certain exploitations on the defensive end. Seeing certain exploitations. Is Miami going to switch a lot? What happens when they switch? They switch the small and the big. They like the front. They like do 3/4 with the backside help defender, right? I know Boston a lot of times they're okay with Marcus Smart and those guys doing that because yes, they are big guards, so there's a physicality element to it, but they also know they have the help defense, right? Same thing with Miami. I believe, like I said, they had Bam back there. That's a versatile defender. So you're going to see a lot of the same stuff, especially in that series. And it's going to be exciting to see the Lakers and Nuggets because you have your Aaron Gordons, Michael Porter Jr., and Jeff Green, and you, like I said, you have Bron, AD, and those guys too, Jared Vanderbilt and Rui. So it's going to be interesting how the physicality element is going to be played, right? Seeing how the refs swallow their whistle during times, and seeing how they dictate the pace of the game, especially with calling fouls, calling certain things. As you guys watch throughout a lot of the playoffs, a lot of times you'll see the hand check come back. You see the hand check get called a lot, not get called a lot, right? And oh, why is this player pushing off? Why is this player doing this? Right? Jason Tatum, once again, perfect example. So I want to really go into because someone asked me about it at church, and I was just like, why was Tatum's three against the Philadelphia 76ers? Because I think, once again, it's a microcosm of the embellishment and all that other stuff. So I will go into the embellishment after I go into like the whole push offs and offensive foul, defensive foul, that kind of stuff, right? So the one thing you guys got to understand about reffing is once you start calling certain things, you have to stay consistent on it. You can't flip flop. You can't flip flop and say, a foul's a foul. And one thing in the Philly series is, that everyone was hand checking, bro. Like everybody was hand checking. Everybody was playing extra physical. Everybody was having the hand on the hip. Everybody was having the hand on, steer guiding from foul line to foul line, right? So when they're not calling it, and Jason Tatum does go to his go-to move, which is a step back three, and he's going to his step back three, and you're hand checking him as Tyrese Maxey, it's going to happen where when he does push off, bro, he's not going to call it, especially in a late game situation. They're not going to call it because they haven't called it all game. Why are you going to call it now? Right. And a lot of times people get frustrated because they want certain calls, but it's like, bro, they're going to stay consistent, whether you like it or not. Right? Like the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors talked about the Lakers and they're flopping, they're doing this. No, the Lakers can't shoot, so they're gonna play bully ball and force you to play using your feet instead of your hands. And when you start hand checking and fouling, Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins and Kevon Looney, because they can't hold AD, they can't hold LeBron away from the rim, right? And they have the rim pressure. When you provide rim pressure and when you provide certain things, the ref's going to call it. The ref's going to call it. Right? This isn't the park, guys, where you call your own fouls and all that garbage. This is consistency. This is a ref. They get paid to ref, right? They get paid to ref. So understand when somebody's not calling certain things with the hand check, they're not calling certain things with that sweep through that D'Angelo Russell does. It's a foul. They're going to stay consistent on it. They called it for Golden State too. They called it up with Jordan Poole too. I don't like the rules too. I don't like certain sweep throughs. I don't like all that. But if you're going to stay consistent and call it a foul, then it's a foul, right? So, guys, understand that you just watch the officiating. Officiating, yes, sometimes they miss some blown calls. I saw a few today in the Celtics game, but as far as certain fouls, they are very consistent on it. Been very consistent on it. In the embellishment, once again, once the guys are so good at creating their own fouls, and when you're playing physical basketball, you know, even when you don't foul, but you sneak your hand in there, you sneak your left arm, you try an arm bar, this, that, and the third. It's going to create a lot of dysfunction, right? And you're gonna be looking at the refs like, bro, and then they're like, yo, don't act like we don't see that hand, right? Don't act like they don't see that hand. So guys, really don't be casuals, bro. Stop being casuals and stop. I understand you may be a casual fan, but really try and educate yourself on the game. Really try and educate yourself on the game because you're going to see why a lot of these guys, like them, a lot of teams that are younger can't go over the hump, right? Certain you're going to see as a true fan of the game why things are the way they are, right? Because there are things that are universal in hoops, right? Things are pretty certain things are pretty universal in hoops. So that is going to be it for tonight. It's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, guys. I love and appreciate every single one of you if you're staying through it, on the live stream. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Sub to my other channel, Ask Night Pass, and comment who you have winning the series on both ends. Right, guys, I will be doing more live streams, especially after each game. I'll try to do more live streams after each game. And yeah, let me know. Let me know what you guys got going on. And thank you for showing love. Love and appreciate you guys. Peace.